welcome to Tanks Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's edition only, the investment talk today will be Ethereum ETH. So it's my second posting us up today. Respect to recording time of 2:22 p.m. on Eastern time, Ethereum current trading $3,500, up about 2.08% so far. With respect to the overall crypto market, with respect to the sell-off that, a relatively sizable correction that we have experienced yesterday, it seems like we're kind of normalizing, rebounding slightly, mainly driven by obviously public investors that are, having that optimism, on, recuperating or hoping to recuperate the surge that we've been experiencing so far, right? Hoping to reach all-time high soon or later. So with respect to Bitcoin, currently is kind of trading on a sideways fashion, down about 0.33%. Ethereum up about 2%. Dogecoin is kind of up about 1% so far. Cardano is down about 0.80%. Solana is still upping and surging away, up about 5%, sustaining and hoping to sustain and continue the euphoria phase that we're currently experiencing to try to reattempt to hit that $200 mark that we try, which I believe was a couple of days ago, that we hit a close to $195 at one point. XRP is currently up about 1.37%. But remember, the altcoin, for Dogecoin, Cardano, and XRP respectively, they were down close to about 21 to 22% yesterday. So with this normalization rebound, it's mainly driven by public investors. It's very obvious, right? So with respect to Ethereum, it's currently up about 2.33%, and I've been reading and collecting some news for the last 5 hours so far, ever since my brunch. And I realized that I've been having more brunches lately. I don't really separate breakfast with lunches anymore. I just kind of eat one meal until my dinner time again, sometimes around like 7 or 8 p.m. on the Eastern time later today. So with respect to Decrypt 1 hour ago, talking about a bug in the OpenSea's marketplace. With respect to this bug, it subsequently reportedly resulted in $100,000 worth of Ethereum NFTs being destroyed with this bug. So obviously, with respect to Ethereum, it's an infrastructure perspective and a technological perspective. It's still something that we need to further implement, to further improve upon. So obviously, this this loss of NFT of not a small amount, right? $100,000, definitely something unfortunate. It's something that we need to further cultivate and implement on going forward. Another article coming from Bazinga 3 hours ago talking about Ethereum holding a critical level, right? And I think this is a technical depiction around Bazinga's analyst. So what they talk about is that we are currently sustaining above the $3,150 level, which is a level that we have identified. Frankly, this is a level that we are floating on a sideways fashion of. And it's a good level to dollar cost average at, right? It's just a logical move. And basically the article on Bazinga is talking about if we break that level, what will be the next subsequent level that we'll go down to? And I think we've been talking about this for many, many days now, that the next technical level in a non-substantive level perspective will be the 3,000 because it's a flat number, but it's a non-substantive one, right? But the technical level would be the 2,750 to 2,450, which will be the ideal level to dollar cost average in a more risk averse perspective. So another article that comes out on Bazinga again, with respect to Dogecoin being down about 12.5% on the heel of Bitcoin and Ethereum plunges. So this is a relatively old news that we have we've seen yesterday, right? And I think with respect to 12.5%, is definitely within a time frame, normalizing with the rebound, right? But the most, the actualization of the down plunge that we saw across all the altcoins, I think Dogecoin yesterday was down about 21%, right? Solana was still up yesterday, about 2%, sustaining despite the sell-off across the board. XRP was down about 23% yesterday. So this is basically another regurgitation, talk about the sell-off that we've had. Another one talking about with respect to another regurgitation news, right? Talking about Siemens Energy CFO on why she becomes the chief inclusion and diversity officer at the same time as being a CFO, and her long-term vision and her belief, having her gravitas towards the value proposition of crypto assets going forward, right? So another good stamp of approval from a corporate entity from a powerful female executive figure in the basically in the large tech company in Silicon Valley, right? Another article talking about with respect to ARK Invest on Kathy Wood's long-term value proposition for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the price target going forward, right? And just another regurgitation news based on the conference that or like the YouTube channel that Kathy Wood has talk about her price predictions for Bitcoin. I believe, or I recall, Bitcoin to hit close to about $450,000 or close to half a million, and Ethereum close to being about $12,500 by year end 2022. So another great stamp of approval from someone that I personally respect a lot, Kathy Wood, with her years of track record as an investor on Wall Street, specifically in equity, but in other commodities at the same time. Right, another regurgitation news talk about on Christie's, talk about her with respect to auctions art blocks NFT with Ethereum bidding. So it seems like in addition to Bitcoin, they're also using Ethereum as a form of transactional value for their auction processes. So another stamp of approval from a relatively reputable auction house globally. So going back to the technical analysis, right now we are sustaining to be above the 3,450, which is a good level. We opened below that today, and we are trying to get above it. But it seems like we are relatively struggling because the surge is not really prominent, and mainly driven by public investors trying to sustain the current level that we at right now, and with the whale manipulated us by selling off a relatively large chunk collectively across the whole crypto market. Right now, public investors are hoping, driving more optimism to come back in. But if we know technical analysis, we know that this is not sustainable. This is not something that we can sustain because of the lack thereof market power coming from public investors. On top of the fact that MACD has crossed recently, and it's just a recent cross on a depth cross perspective, our side is still, leaning more of a normalized level. We are in the mid of it. We're not overbought. We're not oversold at the moment either. But I think, with respect to the depletion that we should be experiencing going forward with the depth cross that's confirmed, we need to come back down a little bit more to 3,000, to 2,750, 2,450. And we know that today's a Wednesday, so 2 days from now will be a Friday and Saturday, and we might hear some weekend affectation. Also, on top of that fact, the CPI report is coming out soon in the mid of this month. I believe like next Thursday or Friday, we'll hear the CPI report, which will give us a taste of the economic outlook going forward, which will subsequently have some correlation effect to the job numbers, and obviously with the Federal Reserve on the quantitative tapering plan going forward as well, which can subsequently have some direct correlations to the crypto market, or an anti-correlation to the crypto market, depending on how it's going to be fluctuating the equity market side of the house, right? Ultimately, depending on the asset purchasing activities or behavior that the Feds will be implementing on us, right? So with respect to the cheat sheet that we know, we are still within, the late complacency stage. We sold off significantly. So we're basically at the early inning of the anxiety moment right now, right? We are oscillating on a sideways fashion, which is logical. Public investors are basically, sustaining, hoping that this dip is taking longer than expected. You guys are basically, why am I getting margin calls right now? Why is it down right now? Should I be selling? I've been getting questions on the comment sections like, oh my god, I bought it at the $4,000 level. I bought it at the $3,900 level. I lost like $250 so far. Should I be selling now? Right? These are the anxiety moment right now. And next thing you know, you're gonna be like, oh, this will come back. There's no worries, right? Because we believe in long-term value proposition with Ethereum. And I think that's a great mindset. We want to be believing in a long-term value proposition, right? It will come back eventually. But next thing you know, people are going to start rotating their equity, or their commodity holdings into other things when the sector rotations for equity side of the house start to come in early Q4, ahead of the Santa Claus rally. you know, people is gonna be panicking like, oh my god, everybody's selling. I need to get out. I need to get out, right? And once we get there, people are gonna be starting feeling angry, like, oh my god, what's going on? Why are we hearing all of these negative media affectation on a daily basis? Like just 2 months of consecutive negative news. Like what's going on? So and then the Feds is gonna start stepping up. And gonna drive like fear mongering among the market, and next thing you know, gonna see like depression. Like people will be like, oh my god, all my money is like gone. Like I bought in at 4,000, now it's like at like low 2,000s now. Half of money is gone. Like I'm an idiot. But that's when, you know, people are gonna start coming in, and these are the time when, you know, Ethereum is trading on a low sideways fashion, RSI is low, MACD is low, depleted. That's the perfect time to buy, and I will be the one, you know, eyeing that level, and I will be the one reminding you that these are the levels that we want to buy at. And then next thing you know, we're gonna start recuperating back to hope, right? And remember, the depression phase is when the corporate investors or the whales start manipulating the media affectation to drive fear mongering so they could get to the ideal price level that they could dollar cost average at, right? Which is something they want to. They're incentivized to do so. And for us, we are using our spidey sense. We oftentimes, you know, apply logics when investing, and that's the perfect logics to buy at the low. At when is it a discount? When everybody's driving fear, that's when you want to be buying. You know what I'm trying to say? So stay within the frame of reference that's easier for us to digest. Will be $3,000 level, 2,750, 2,450. But if you bought in again, right, the $4,000 level, 9,800 in the next 12 months, basically next year by September, would be in a, you know, a relatively good gains, right? So I would not worry about it. Just hold. You know, you did what you did already. It's no, you cannot like rewind the clock and go back into history and try to, you know, tell yourself again, right? And that's why staying within the logic, using the right methodology to apply when you are executing your trades going forward is so critical. But what's done is done already. Just hold for long term, because time and patience will always pay off big time from here. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. It's my second video posting again. Really appreciate you for dropping by. So feel free to give me questions if you have any specific ones. I'm gonna be out a little bit. I just have like a bunch of meetings later today. I'm out tomorrow, but I will try to squeeze some time, you know, within to give you guys like an update. Right? It's important that you guys are well informed on a daily basis and not make irrational decisions, which is extremely important. Right? Your money is extremely hard earned. It's something that is your livelihood. I don't want you to be making the wrong decisions or making the big mistakes. You know. So hopefully this is helpful, and really take care of yourself. And I know summer is basically over now. September is basically, you know, the end of summer, where fall is coming, and then winter, next thing you know, is the end of the year, right? Time is really flying, but let's stay focused and let's keep the long-term vision going, and stay tuned for this. Take care. Bye.